I am 67 years old. I retired at 50 with a full pension, a paid-off house, and a room full of people clapping for me. I thought I had won. 17 months later, I was sitting in my kitchen at 2 in the afternoon. Curtains drawn, glass in my hand, nowhere to be, no one expecting me anywhere. That is not freedom. That is a grave with Wi-Fi. They never tell you what happens after the party. After the gold watch, after the handshake from the gray suits who couldn't wait to replace you with someone younger and cheaper, they sold you a picture, a hammock, a beach. Two people laughing with no reason shown for the laughter. I bought that picture. I framed it and it nearly killed me. They start selling it to you young. Work hard, save everything, suffer now, rest later. That is the deal they offer you at 22, standing in a cheap suit outside your first office building. And you take it because everyone around you takes it, because your father took it, because the whole machine only runs if you believe the finish line is real. 50 years of your life, traded for a number in an account and a date circled on a calendar. And when that date finally comes, they hand you a cake, a card signed by people who will forget your name inside of 90 days, a watch you will never wear. And then they walk back inside and close the door, and you are standing in the parking lot, alone. Here is what they never put in the brochure. Your job was not just a paycheck. You hated it, yes. The meetings, the politics, the slow suffocation of a fluorescent lit room. But it was also your alarm clock, your structure, your reason to shave in the morning. It gave you a tribe, even a bad tribe. Even a tribe of people you complained about every single night at the dinner table. Take that away overnight and something inside a man starts to rot. Purpose does not retire. Hunger does not retire. The body keeps waking up at 6 in the morning looking for a fight. And when there is no fight, it turns inward. It starts eating the man from the inside. They knew this. The financial advisors, the HR departments, the smiling faces on the retirement fund posters. They knew. They just needed you to keep believing until your signature was on the paper. I want to tell you about Dale Mercer. 52 years old when he retired. Broad shoulders, hands like slabs of oak, the kind of man who could fix anything. A leaking pipe, a broken engine, a bad mood in a room full of miserable people. He was the strongest man I knew. He retired on a Friday in October. We threw him a party at a bar on Clement Street. Laughed until midnight. I drove him home. He slapped the roof of my car and said, "Frank, we made it, brother." I believed him. Within 6 months, Dale had finished every project in his house, repainted the garage, built a deck nobody asked for, retiled a bathroom that didn't need retiling. And then he ran out of things to fix. So he sat down. That was the beginning of the end. His wife, Carol, called me about a year later, quietly, like she was embarrassed. She said Dale was forgetting things, small things at first. Where he put his keys, the name of a neighbor he had known for 20 years, then bigger things. The doctors used words like accelerated cognitive decline. One of them told Carol carefully, gently, the way doctors deliver sentences that land like sledgehammers, that prolonged mental inactivity in men Dale's age can speed up what was already coming. The stillness had fed it. Dale died at 61 in a recliner, in front of a television he could no longer follow, surrounded by a deck nobody used and a garage that smelled like fresh paint. He didn't run out of time. He ran out of purpose first, and the clock caught up fast. So here is what I learned. The hard way, the expensive way. The way that cost me Dale and nearly cost me my marriage, and 2 years of mornings I will never get back. 3 rules, write them on your hand if you have to. Rule 1, never stop building something. I do not care what it is. A business, a garden the size of a postage stamp, a YouTube channel, a chest of drawers in a garage workshop. It does not matter. The size is irrelevant. The act of building is everything. A man with a project has a reason to wake up. A man without one starts making excuses to stay in bed. And a man who stays in bed long enough starts to disappear. Rule 2. Replace your income with a mission, not a hobby. Hobbies are fine. Fishing is fine. Golf is fine, but hobbies will not save you. A hobby fills an afternoon. A mission fills a life. Find something that demands something from you. Something with stakes. Something that can fail. Because a man who cannot fail has already failed in the most permanent way possible. Rule 3. Test every relationship in your life within the first 6 months. Retirement is a mirror. It shows you exactly who was there for the uniform and who is there for you. The colleagues who vanish. The friends who had nothing to say once the shared complaints were gone. The spouse who married a busy man and now does not recognize the hollow one sitting across the breakfast table. Find out who is real, fast, before the silence becomes permanent. If you are sitting somewhere right now recognizing yourself in these words, leave a comment. Tell me where you are in this. I am not talking to an empty room and I need to know you are out there. Let me tell you what freedom actually is. Because you have been lied to about that too. Freedom is not the hammock, it is not the cruise ship. It is not the absence of an alarm clock or a boss or a deadline breathing down your neck. That is not freedom, that is sedation. Real freedom is owning your effort. Every single morning waking up and choosing what you build and why you build it. Not because a corporation needs the quarterly numbers. Not because a manager with soft hands and no calluses is watching the clock, but because you decided, because it is yours. The man who works for himself at 60 is the freest man alive. Not the man dissolving into a leather recliner on a pension at 51. I know men who retired with nothing, forced out, downsized, handed a cardboard box and a cold handshake at 54. Men who had every reason to sit down and surrender. And some of them did, and they aged 10 years and 18 months. I watched it happen, the shoulders rounding, the eyes going flat, the slow leak of a man who has stopped believing his next day matters. But some of them did not sit down. Some of them started over, from a kitchen table, from a truck bed, from a phone and a contact list, in sheer animal stubbornness, and are the most alive people I know today. There is an old carpenter's truth that nobody frames and hangs on a wall. Wood left unworked rots, iron left unused rusts, and a man left purposeless does both at the same time. You were not built for stillness, not yet, not while there is still breath in your chest and fire in your hands. The beach can wait, the hammock can wait, you cannot. I am 67 years old. Do the math. If I am lucky, if my heart holds, if the things that took Dale and took others I have loved decide to leave me alone a little longer, I have maybe 15 good years left in this body, 15 years. That is not a long time, that is a short hallway, and I am not spending a single morning of it staring at curtains with a glass in my hand waiting for something to happen to me. Neither should you. I do not care if you are 52 or 58 or 63 sitting in a house that feels too quiet now that the kids are gone and the career is over and the noise you mistook for a life has finally stopped. It is not too late, but I need you to understand something, truly understand it. The way you understand a doctor's face when the news is not good. Every morning you spend waiting is a morning you spent dying. There is no rehearsal for this part. There is no second draft. The clock on the wall does not negotiate. I buried Dale at 61, strong hands, carpenter's shoulders, a deck nobody used. I will not let that be your story. Get up. Build something. Find the thing that demands everything from you and give it everything you have left. Not tomorrow, not after the next holiday, not when you feel ready. Because here is the last truth I will give you. You will never feel ready. Nobody does. The ones who changed their lives, the ones who built something real from the wreckage of a wasted decade, They were not ready either. They just got up anyway. Get up,